What is up, fellow humans? Against all odds, I am still alive, living, breathing, in pain, but functional. And I am so sorry for being away lately, but anytime I think that stuff is going to get better, like I always say, stuff ends up getting worse. But what matters is that, life keeps going and it's more good than not. So I'm not going to sit here and complain. But during my few days that I was away, I had this thought like 3 days ago, and it just hit me. I was just doing some work in the office, mundane as always, and then I had this random thought about insurance, probably because, again, my life has to be getting complicated by me losing certain benefits that I had. And now I'm having to reconfigure my life to accommodate for the losses that I'm getting ready to have. And needless to say, it's been stressful, but it's nothing that cannot be addressed. So I was just having a rain of thoughts, and they revolved around insurance. So I thought that this would be the official insurance topic so that we can just ramble about it, talk about it, express how much we hate it, love it, if it's useful, if it's just a scam, if it's something that should be done away with. Basically, anything that comes into mind. And I pretty much created a list of all of the kinds of insurances off the top of my head that I could think of, and then I will express my opinion on them. And if you guys have experience with any of those, you can tell me about it. But yeah, let's get this rambling going. And I see that John is here. Hello, good to see you. But the way that my thoughts on this matter initiated were I kept thinking about just how many different insurances there are. So, to enumerate them, there is burial, life, car, renters slash home, medical, dental, vision. And anytime you buy a phone, especially these days with how fancy they are, a phone, a computer, whatever, you can add a guard to it. You can add an insurance to your phone. And of course, it never works how you expect or think it would. But anyways, it usually tends to be a trivial amount, or in other cases, it tends to be a significant amount for the average person. But then there is also warranties, extended warranties. So if you want to, you can include that as well as a form of insurance, but it's not really the ones that I'm going to focus on for the most part. So when it comes to all of these things that I just mentioned, immediately, what I just said a few seconds ago, but I will just go ahead and express it. Insurances just don't work like you think it would, or they just do not apply in the manner that you think it would. For example, my phone insurance is the most irritating one. I will never forget it. I don't know why I don't go ahead and just cancel it. But when I bought this piece of crap, it's the iPhone 6 Plus, and I happened to get it because my iPod Touch got lost, and that was my primary source of internet access that was more, what can I say, mobile than my laptop. It's easy to carry, easy to keep in my pocket. It had the tools that I needed. I don't need to be whipping out a massive ass laptop just to look up the address to a place. So if I can be on the go and log into Wi-Fi and look up the info I needed, I was perfectly fine. I never really was out of town, so I didn't really need to GPS my way through anything. And in addition, if I did need a GPS, my mom had a separate one of those Tom-Toms or whatever they're called. So when my phone had the bend gate situation, I naturally went to Sprint and I said, my phone has this issue happening. It is insured. What can we do about it to repair it? And they said, well, see, what happens is it got bent, so therefore your touchscreen is not really whatever it is that's happening, something about some plate that's not coming into contact with something, and therefore it's not really picking up my touch, whatever. So I'm like, great, this is clearly a manufacturer's defect. Can I get a replacement or can I get an upgrade? Of course, they said, well, see, what happens is that this is actually considered a damage that, like, because it bent, I guess it's considered me having physically damaged it. And I'm like, yeah, because accidents happen. I did not know that if I apparently have this phone in my pocket, it can bend from the shitty metals that Apple decided to use. And the worst part about it is that Apple did not want to acknowledge that this is a problem that this phone had. So, of course, Sprint just said, well, if you want to use your insurance, you're going to have to pay like, how much was it? Basically, they wanted me to pay about maybe $160, maybe $200 to still pay the installments that I have on the phone remaining. And on top of that, they're going to send me the exact same model that I have, which is going to be susceptible to the problem that I am already encountering. So I did a little bit of research, and it turns out that the issue I was having with my phone was very easily remedied by taking it to a repair shop of some sort, and then they could install some kind of a plate or something that would make touch work again. And to this day, my phone has not had any problems. I bought my phone in 2015, only a week away from that 1 week in September when the Apple events take place and the new model of iPhone drops. But I didn't know anything about it because I had no intention in owning an iPhone at the time. So I'm thinking to myself, I have very little money. This was a very big sacrifice that I had to make. I couldn't even afford to get that phone replaced because it was like a one-time payment that you had to do, and 160-ish, whatever amount it was, I can't recall. It sounds like it's a very trivial amount, but at the time, for me, in the situation that I was in, it was impossible for me to get to it. But it upset me that there I am paying like $13 extra on my bill for insurance that's not going to do anything for me, because I still have to like pay for a new phone, and it's not even going to be that new. The phone they were going to give me was going to be a used one. So I'm guessing it's someone had bought this one iPhone 6 Plus. They couldn't pay for it. They had to turn it in. They surrendered it for whatever reason. And then that's the phone that they're going to give me. I created the history of the current phone that I have. I know how many times it's been dropped. I know if the screen has been replaced. I know if it's been opened. I know if it's been altered in any way. I know everything about this phone. But when you're going to give me a new used phone, I don't know anything about that phone, anything about its history. And they did say that it's possible that it will come with very minimal defects, like maybe some scratches here and there, maybe a few dents here and there. And the problem with me is that when people call something that they express something is in excellent condition, to me excellent condition is pretty much near flawless, near perfect. But a lot of the times, in my experience, buying stuff online that is described as excellent condition, I always find a flaw that had I known about it, I would not have proceeded with my purchase. And sometimes some people say it's in perfect condition and I find hidden flaws. Like, you cannot call something perfect condition if there is a minimal flaw in it. So if something is in great condition, to me is one step below excellent condition, which is you can find defects, but they're not significant enough. If you say something is in great condition, it's better than excellent because I can anticipate defects. But when you say that I won't see defects, I get irritated as hell, you know? So phone insurance is the one thing that I should really just stop paying for, because it's just not going to work how it's supposed to. And because the phone plans that we usually get have that thing where you can upgrade and the upgrades are still expensive as hell. At least I know me. I can take care of my stuff pretty darn well, and I have had my current iPhone for 5 years now. So it's about to be like 5-ish years. So if I have taken good care of it to where it does not have a single scratch or dent, like, well, there's a bit of a dent on one corner from when I dropped it and I had a really shitty cover on it. But like the screen is absolutely intact. I think that screen is better than my glasses. But but then at the same time, I think if I were to get rid of that stupid insurance, maybe something will happen to it to where having insurance would have helped me. But at the same time, just like with car insurance, why are you paying for something that you probably will never use? And it's kind of a roulette. You better have it just in case something happens. But if you end up never having incidents, you never get a reimbursement. Like, we should be allowed to get a significant percentage of that back because I am responsible. I can take care of things. I can be a responsible driver. Why is it that because of others not knowing how to follow instructions or take care of their cars on time, or let's say weather is an uncontrollable element. Weather is definitely something that makes me think it's a good thing to have insurance, but most insurances say that weather inflicted damage is not covered anyway. So, what the fuck? Again, you would think that if I have car insurance, my car is being protected from absolutely anything, any damage whatsoever that could happen to it. Vandalism, weather, crashes. It like insurance kicks in depending on what happens. Maybe depending on what happens, they may pay for it. Why would it matter if it's your fault or not your fault? Why not make it, you know what? We charge you monthly for this. You work hard to pay monthly for this. Let's just go ahead and keep you insured. It doesn't matter what happens. We're humans. We make mistakes. We make mistakes, we make stupid decisions, so it doesn't matter what happens. What matters is you have been faithfully paying for this bill monthly, so therefore, something happened, we said we would be there, let's just make it happen. But of course, it involves giving you money, and that's the last thing that they want to do. They want to take, but they don't want to give. John says, I think the phone insurance is a total waste. I have never used it, never paid for it, just take care of stuff. Exactly. So now that I have had this phone for like 5 years now, I felt great knowing that it's insured in case stuff happens. But when I think about it, because nothing has happened to it, I'm thinking nothing is going to happen to it. So I think I'm just paying for something for the peace of mind that will never really come, because if I were saving those stupid $13 a month, like let's say 13 times 12, how much is that? I'm not good at math, so I'm going to multiply it. $156 that I could be saving every year. And I have been paying for this for about 5 years. So that's $780 that I have given away to Sprint for nothing. So I want to start keeping that money in my pocket for something that is actually going to make me happy, and I'm going to use it toward. Because remember, I don't have one phone. I'm responsible for two phones. So that's my mom's phone is getting $13. My phone is getting $13. So in the grand scheme of things, I have paid $1,560 on two phones that nothing has fucking happened to it. And the one time that something did happen to it, insurance wanted to do nothing about it. Nothing to have a permanent resolution, a permanent solution, I meant to say. So that is absolutely irritating. And that's why insurances should be done away with. Just be like, oh, you broke your phone, you lost your phone. All right, shit happens. You get one chance to replace it. And after that, it should be your responsibility to buy a brand new one. I think that's how it should be, like a one strike thing. We will give it to you because we care about our customers and whatever. We know that insurance is a scam, and some people are going to use it, some people are not going to use it, some people's repairs are going to be more expensive than others. Just get one strike, one opportunity. After you use your one opportunity to either repair your phone, replace your phone, whatever it is, then it should be your responsibility to pay in full for a new phone. Because when it comes to phone insurance, let's say that I file a claim saying I lost my phone. They're going to be like, okay, you can replace it up to one time, I think. And it makes sense because I can say that I lost it to then sell it and then say that I lost it again to sell it again. And in a sense, that is a form of fraud. But at the same time, it's like, what if I genuinely lose it two times? Why should it matter? Just because other mother effers have terrible minds, like they're cynical, doesn't mean that I should be the one paying the consequences for it. You know, it's just a very unfair system. It doesn't take into account that people are different, circumstances are different. I think you should be able to sit down, have a conversation with another human, and come to an agreement. Businesses tend to do well based on trust, and I think that something that would really blow away your customers would be for you to actively listen to their cases and be like, you know what, people really do not want to cheat the system. Some people do, but there's a way for you to figure that out. You gotta find out about this person, get to know them. Everyone leaves traces of their crimes, you know? No need for equipment warranties either. If you buy something with a good credit card, it usually is covered by a warranty, like American Express. Hi, me love. Hello, Garuda. What up, homie? Hello, LFA. I would never buy a used electronic device. Absolutely not. I would never buy a used car either because I know nothing about cars. I'm a complete dummy. I only know how to perfectly and safely drive them, bring them home, have them take me to whatever destination it is that I'm going to. But I know nothing about maintenance, nothing about repairs. So I do not want to buy something that I don't know its history. I think it's stupid. And when it comes to electronics, there's just something hidden, some flaw in there that you just don't know about. So I would rather just have something clean, something fresh, something new, so that I can create its history. And that way, anything that happens to it, I know for a fact that it's absolutely my fault unless it is a clear manufacturer's defect. But I just think it's insane that when it comes to insurance, I'm paying so much to end up with something used. No, no, that is absolutely unacceptable in my book. So, in the grand scheme of things, all of these little things, something that upsets me about it is that they are promoted with very trivial amounts. Like, let's say, let me pick myself for example. Vision insurance, it used to be about $5, or, well, I should say $10 a month. And then my dental insurance was about $20 a month. And then other things that you can apply for on the side would be something like, well, medical insurance is something that we all need. Let's say that you're paying $330 a month for medical insurance. That definitely most people cannot do that. So that's why the government tends to have this thing to where if you meet a certain income, you can get it subsidized. But the problem with that is that you're still getting shitty insurance and you're telling yourself, I got health insurance, but maybe you pick the lowest value that covers pretty much nothing because, again, that is all that you can afford. If you were to pick a fancier one, I would imagine that the government subsidy is not going to do its thing. So a lot of people, just to, like, I'm an example of that, just to not deal with that problem later, I'm like, okay, let the subsidy take care of it and let me not aspire for something that I know I cannot safely afford. But then the catch with medical is that you gotta meet the deductible, and after you meet the deductible, it doesn't mean that it's done. You have to pay that deductible, then you have the copay, and then after you have exploited those two, that's when your stupid insurance finally starts paying for things. And then at the end of the year, that's when it gets reset. So then you have to start the process all over. And that's how people end up raking so much stupid debt. It's like, okay, this year I have to pay $7,000 to meet my deductible. And then what if I'm only at $6,500? And then December arrives, January arrives, and then all that you paid for before your insurance finally kicks in, it gets reset to zero. That is so ridiculous. So you have to have a really terrible condition for that thing to start kicking in. So why would you want to grant some people $0 deductibles, but other people would have immense deductibles? And usually it is the people who are in the toughest situations anyway who cannot afford to not have deductibles. Like whatever catch it is that can grant you the zero deductible policy, those tend to be really expensive, at least in my experience researching what I can about stupid insurance. You know, this is designed for you to not succeed and just fail miserably at it. And I just wonder why we allow it to happen like that, you know? And then when it comes to dental, at least dental insurance is much more straightforward, and visual insurance tends to be pretty straightforward as well. But even then, even when I had insurance for my glasses, I still had to pay like $500. And sometimes I would still have to pay near close to that amount and not even get a new frame. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. You want to have backup for things, but they make it so difficult for that to be possible. And then when it comes to renters and home insurance, again, it doesn't even cover the weather. I think the weather does the most damage to homes. And I think policymakers know that so well that they're like, you know what? If we protect people against the things that actually they could claim for, we're going to have to give them their money. Yeah, so let's make it as tough as possible. Let's just cover very unlikely things, but just give them the fear of, remember, if there is actually a fire and you're not insured, then oh well, you gotta take you gotta take the consequences. Your losses are legit. And I'm like, no, just design something that the consumer can be happy with. How can you be proud? How can you go to bed knowing that the thing that you are selling is giving people anxiety, is stealing people's money? Like that money that people could have kept in their pockets to put toward something better, you're just keeping it and you're demanding more and you're increasing the prices for no reason. Like, how can you live with yourself? Clearly, you just have no like scruples. I never know how to say that word, but it's so irritating. I hate that that's even a thing. And then with life insurance, this is absolutely irritating. They say, oh, just pay a trivial amount. Like, shoot, I'm not really sure on the rates, but I remember seeing an ad for it's either life insurance or burial insurance. Maybe they're the same thing. I don't know. But there's this insurance that is supposed to protect you against debt, or protect your loved ones against any debt or something. And it said just start as low as $3.99 or like $5 a month. I'm thinking, let's say that those two things are separate, burial and life, since I'm not sure. Burial is asking for 50, life is asking for 10, car is asking for, if it's a new car, let's say an average of an extra $200. Renters, and God forbid if you have more than one car, renters slash home is asking for, renters insurance is usually annual and it tends to be about 110 for me. So that's, let's divide that by 12, I guess. Let's see, let's use real numbers. 110 divided by 12, that would be $9 every month that I'm putting toward that. So let me add my numbers. I said burial is asking for, let's put random numbers. Let's say burial is asking for 30-ish. Life is asking for like 5. Car is asking for like, let's say car is asking for, let's say 200. Keep it simple. Let's say renters is asking for what I just said. Let's say another $10 every month. Medical is asking, on average, medical insurance tend to be on the 300s. So I would have had maybe $240 a month. Let's say 240. Let's make it low. And then you would have dental, which for me it's at around $10. Vision is at around $8. And then let's say the phone would be $13. That's $516 alone. If I were to sign up for every single insurance ever, that's $516 a month that I have to set aside for all of these little things. And on average, the average worker, if you're minimum wage, you're probably making 500-ish dollars in your paycheck. So that puts you at around a $20 deficit. And then if you do have a better paycheck, let's say that you somehow make 600-ish, 700-ish dollars, that's only $200 that you gotta juggle between groceries, gas, any other necessities like medicine or any things that you may need like toiletries or shit breaks. Sometimes you need, occasionally you may get that shirt that tears or something. You may need uniforms. You may need to bring your own lunch. You may need to have people over for a day or two. Like, you just have money for nothing. And I feel like they thought about this very well. It's like, let's make it really difficult for people to have extra money to actually do things. That is absurd. That is ridiculous. And I don't know why we allow for insurance to be something that exists when it doesn't work the way that you think it would. So I'm thinking, if I have paid for, let's say I have paid those 1,000 something dollars that I said earlier for the last 5 years with my phones, it's like, why can I not use that $1,000 toward buying a new phone right now? Like, that money's just sitting somewhere. You're not using it. Why not let me get a brand new phone when something does happen to my current phone? It's insane. I have paid for that already. I have paid for maybe 2 phones by now on just the guard for it. So when it comes to medical insurance, same thing. The amount that I have paid toward it, it should be enough for me to file some kind of claim and be like, hey, I have faithfully paid $300 12 times a year. So let's say $300 times 12. That would be $3,600. Very easily, I could get care for something. I could get treatment for something. But you're telling me that that money you're just going to keep because I didn't file a claim. What the fuck is that? You know? But anyways, you guys, that pretty much sums up all of the thoughts that I have when it comes to the insurance business. You guys let me know any experiences that you have, or if you believe in it, if you think it's a good thing, but most people don't get it, if you think that it's something that we should get rid of. I think we should get rid of that mess, and just make stuff affordable. Don't make stuff insanely confusing, ridiculously expensive for no reason if we have resources. So the question of who's going to pay for this and that, like, I don't know how to really put it into words, but you cannot convince me that collectively we cannot be better as a nation, and that only a very small percentage of people can hoard most of the monetary resources. You will never convince me that that's how things have to be, that that's what's ultimately right. Clearly, there is some theft and injustices going on, and somehow nothing is being done about it. But hopefully, something will be done about it someday. But anyways, those are my personal thoughts and opinions when it comes to this matter. And Jordan says, hi, beautiful friend. Hello to you. Unfortunately, you have arrived for the end pretty much of the stream because I really don't have much else to add. But I was just rambling about different kinds of insurances, and if you were to sign up to all of them, even though they ask for a trivial amount like 5, 10, some of them don't ask for such a trivial amount. Some of them is hundreds per month. Imagine if everyone signed up for all of those things because you're afraid that one day you're going to get caught in a situation where you could have had the aid of insurance. But I was saying that even if you are signed up for all of those insurances, when things do happen, insurance tends to not work in the manner that you think it would. And then I named examples about my phone and car accidents. Like, you would think that, oh, if my car gets broken for whatever reason, let it be vandalism, let it be the weather, let it be a really bad car wreck, and it was my fault. Insurance got my back. No, they're going to increase your premium, and depending on what happened, they may not even do anything with you. It's like they'll have to pay the other victim, the victim that you collided against, or I'm not sure if you collapse against, let's say, a building or something, if insurance has anything to do with that. I don't think so, because from what I remember reading in my policy, it said it would cover damages to another vehicle up to maybe $200,000. And I think part of that is also if someone gets hurt, dismembered, or killed or something, then that's also taken into account. But again, they make those documents lengthy and complicated. So you really have to be patient and have your mind clear to dive into those documents and be like, oh, okay, this is what insurance really means. But I think it's insane that something that you dedicate to paying and that it's even legally required doesn't cover you in the manner that you expect it to, in the manner that it should. And I just rambled on about it. Zemri, saving money is super hard when things pop up to pay more money after saving every penny. I'm sorry, hi. Yeah, definitely. And I think part of the reason it's difficult to save money is because they're starting to make things requirements, legal requirements, like have health insurance and you need to have car insurance. And if you, let's say that you are due for a new car, you aspire for a new car, you're not just worrying about the sticker price, the loan. You have to worry about plates. You have to worry about the yearly tax that you have to pay on it, the property tax. And in addition, you're paying for this insane insurance. So that makes your bill more abominable, and a lot of people are opting for not owning cars. They're opting for carpooling or riding the bus. And I'm thinking, why are you making it so difficult for people to have good things, necessary things, like a vehicle? I just think it's insane. And the amount of sacrifice that you have to do just to keep the mere basics is ridiculous. Like, no one should have to worry about, oh, when I die, my loved ones hopefully will not have to worry about my bills or my remaining medical bills. I'm dead, but somehow they're still going to expect for you to pay back for me not surviving, or your burial insurance. For me, I want to be buried in a natural way. Like, just put me in some wooden box, and anywhere that there's land that's unclaimed, just bury me there. I don't need a funeral. I don't need, like, it's insane. The average funeral is like, what, $10,000? Nobody around me has that kind of money, and I wouldn't want to be a burden to anybody when I'm fucking not here. That is ridiculous. They made a business out of you dying. They also made a business out of you being born. They made a business out of you being alive with certain conditions. That is fucking insane. It's like abominable for me. Someone makes money off your existence, but you get nothing. Why are we okay with that? It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Most insurance companies will scare you on commercials to get insurance, paying more money. Most people don't have insurance. Worst car insurance. Thank you, Zamri, for telling me about the video topic. Yeah, like a lot of people, they're like, you know what? Yeah, it really looks scary. Uh, some people just say, well, I'm going to have to take the risk and go without insurance because I just cannot make it. I cannot do it. If I get this insurance, that means fewer groceries or fewer, like less gas mileage or something, or my car does not get repaired, or I may have to give up my home internet, or it's like you have to sacrifice something to be able to implement something that you may not even get to. That's insane to me. So there should be some kind of program. Supposedly there are some insurances that if you're a good driver, they give you some kind of bonus. I don't know anything about it. I've never gotten it. No one that I know has ever gotten it. And usually, you ever have a credit card? If you have a credit card and you obtain certain points, usually you can redeem those points for a gift card. It's not like they actually give you the cash value unless you have to have a certain account type or maybe meet an insane amount of points to be given that money back in cash. But in my mother's experiences, she's usually able to turn it into maybe a plane ticket or points for a plane ticket. She's never used it for that, but usually she opts for getting gift cards from places that she actually shops at. And usually the amount is mediocre. Let's say that you have 6,000 points, they can expire, but with those 6,000 points, maybe you can get a $50 gift card to go somewhere. You spent so much more to get back so little. And then I had a friend of mine who told me, guess what? I got these jeans from American Eagle for free, and they're originally $90. And I had to ruin it for her. And I said, you only had to pay like $1,000 to get that gift, right? And she was like, yeah, something like that. I did have to spend a lot to get it. Don't fall for that trap. Don't fall for, oh, you gotta spend this amount to get this amount for free. You're not getting anything for free. You technically just paid for it. Because remember that the cost of actually manufacturing something is so little compared to, you're paying more for the brand that name. Like maybe those jeans actually cost $10 to make, and maybe a few extra trivial cents to have shipped and mailed and paid the people who like fold them and put them in a box or something. But you're paying this absurd amount. And probably also because the place that you go to, American Eagle, they're usually situated in malls, and malls have like really expensive rents to pay. So you're just not winning. That's not a sound investment to me. But anyways, that's the way I think about things. In my mind, every single business ever is ruined, and I just don't want for my loved ones to fall into a trap. See what I mean? Especially the consumeristic one. It's so difficult in this culture to be like safe from that. But if I can see through it and I can at least make someone aware and then possibly make them make better choices that in the long run they're going to be grateful for, I'm here for it. I am here for it. Expensive cars today. I miss my insurance per day. I cannot believe. I think in the US it's compulsory to have a card in order to find work. In Europe, it's just a luxury. We have public transport. Yeah, like there are some places in which public transport is literally all that you need. But unfortunately, at least in the southern United States, if you live closer to rural areas, that is not so easy. Like you're in the middle of nowhere, most places are underdeveloped, and you definitely do want to have a car to make it to that neighboring city for maybe your job or even groceries. Some places are absolutely deserted. Some people live in places where the closest Walmart may be some 20 miles away. Walmart, 20 miles away for some people. And at least in my current city, there is two neighborhood Walmarts, and there's like one giant Walmart right there, like some 6 blocks away from me. And then Walmarts are pretty much situated in every point in the city, north, south, east, west. But some people live in a town where there's only one Walmart. And what can I say? Walmart is not really the place that I like to promote or worship, but let's face it, everything that you could possibly need is there. Some of them even have car services, some have vision services, some have, do they have pharmacies? I feel like they have pharmacies. Yeah, they do have pharmacies. So to some people, that's all they have. But I think that there needs to be more choices, more than what we already have. Looking from shelf to shelf in one store, cool. But I'm saying that we need to have more choices as to where we're able to make purchases at. Some places, when these big companies go to a little town, they put everyone else out of business. I don't think that should be allowed. But I guess that people in those smaller communities, there's only so much they can do. There's only so much power that they have. But it's just terrible. These big companies come to a place, they stay there for about 7-ish years. After they do their damage, they just close down and leave. What's left of that town now? But, anyways, we can save that topic for another day. Alright, guys, well, thanks so much for joining me on this day. Again, I'm gonna try to not disappear, but it's just been incredibly difficult for me to make it. And I'm not even gonna lie, my health went to shit again, but I'm feeling a whole lot better. And hopefully, with the weather becoming more pleasant when it comes to temperatures, I will be able to show up more. Alright, guys, I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Oh, before I leave, let me read the last messages. Remember, there are only two free things in this earth: free ways and free throws. Bye, friend. See ya.